Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
On July 4th, 1962, I found myself in the lost and found of mankind. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that it wants to be there. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that the person who lost it doesn't care for that lost item.
You are writing moments that people will learn from, grow from, and heal through for thousands of years. Together, we are co-authoring a unique moment in time. That DNA, those fingerprints, they're going to be gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But it is your story that they will tell for thousands of years. But only if you leave it. Things that do not serve you must go. The longer you wait, the more time you give them to trick you into serving them. 22 homes in foster care, everything I wore as a scar, as a shame, things that started like Velcro on my spirit. After just a few months, then years, then decades, I had believed myself into believing that they were indelible tattoos. Sometimes we have to be broken down to appreciate the view once we start getting up. I want you to leave this place and know that you have been changed. Why? How do I know it's true? Because each of you has just changed me. Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started. One story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
Before you get it, baby. Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
I don't care. It's my version of rhythm. You're in my universe. I live here. You're visiting. Just kidding. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. It is T to the G to the I to the F. Friday. I'm excited. I love it. I love Fridays. Why? Well, clearly because they're Fridays, but because we have come together 5 days in a row this week and every week, well, 50 weeks a year, fulfilling one of the greatest promises out there. And it is the one that guarantees us. It guarantees us, you guys, where two or more of us comes together. We've got that mindset, that heart set, that soul set of service to each other. You know what happens. Spiritual magic comes out the other side. So good morning to all you beautiful people. And as far as that spiritual magic goes, can I get an amen up in here? Right. I love me some spiritual magic. It is a wonderful thing. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and it's a beautiful day in the Chicagoland area. How are things shaping up in your neck of the woods? Let me know where you're viewing from. If you're on one of the interactive platforms, drop it in the comments. I love to hear where people are. Before we get our guest in here, first of all, for those of you who may have never been here, where have you been? Living under a rock, clearly. That is the Bell of Purpose, not a show gimmick and not just a clever prop. It is a real thing. I prefer to call it an opportunity, if you will. Why? Because just like that bell, when I hit it, it rings. The truth has a ring to it. So when I hit that bell, it's because we're busy people. I get it. But we should never be so busy that we miss some truth. So that's just to remind you that just like that bell, the ring of truth is out there. Get you some and take it with you. Can I get another amen? Oh, there you go. Just in case there's one at least, I'll start it off. So also, welcome to the show, my sidekick. She's my version of Ed McMahon, my sidekick, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. She's been here with me all 6 years. And you know, I eat on this show. Get yourself something. Get yourself some. What was that, a senior moment? I banish you to the nether reaches of the universe. Go, senior moment. We eat on this show. Today I am eating Cheerios, no sugar, and banana. Usually I'd put some Truvia on it, but I didn't know how my guest, Miss Fitness USA, she really is. We're going to get into that. Allison Covington, she might say, Truvia, do you know what's in that? And I don't want another one of my things ruined. Every time I let something out, somebody says, well, you know, there's a side effect to that. But anyway, so I just went ahead and went natural today, right? And I've also got some Michigan cherries. Of course, my accompanying pit bucket with it, because you know how that is. What are you going to do? All over your floor? No. So I've got those. Picked them up when I was in Michigan last weekend. So love that. Who's here today? Well, Allison Covington. I had the honor and the pleasure of meeting her a few weekends ago when we went to Charleston, South Carolina, for the union of Jason Cisneros and his lovely new bride, Emily. Should I say Sealman? Formerly known as Sealman Cisneros. And I met Allie there, and it was instant connection. Seriously, instantaneously. And so of course, I had to invite her on the show. So what does she do? Who is she? Well, and her bio is like stretched from way down there up to here. So I'm going to abbreviate it today and let her fill in between the lines when she gets in here. She's the designer of My Bride Bod. Hey, what about us grooms? Allison Ferguson, but she likes to be called Allie. Remember that show, Kate and Allie? Sorry, that's my ADHD. Kate and Allie, that was a good show. Anyway, Allison has been personally training men and women for 17 years. And she started it, well, I'm adding to it. While attending the University of California, Irvine, she was a biology student there, so she's smart as well as beautiful. She worked for both Bally, Total Fitness. Hey, I went there when I lived in Hollywood. Oh my God. Oh, the memories. And anyway, and she worked at UCI as both a personal trainer and a group exercise instructor. So she's been doing this work for quite a while. After graduation, she continued to perform at the highest levels in the fitness industry as the #1 private trainer for the high-end Spectrum Club in Fullerton, California. And this was in both 1999. Let's party like it's 19. I knew there was a song connected to that. And 2001. In 2000, she received and almost received that honor in 2000. Almost. Who stole it from you? Give me your phone number. I'll find her. She did all this while simultaneously earning her Master's of Arts degree in counseling psychology. Currently, she is an investment advisor representative and a branch office manager for Transamerica Financial Advisors. Thank you. Thank me, you guys, for that shameless plug I just gave you. And she lives in Orange County, California with her husband, her 5-year-old daughter, and get this, an 18-month-old son. She got a baby. I didn't know that when I met her. I would have been even more impressed because her body is on point, but her spirit is even more on point. You're going to love this girl. Listen, she's never been here. She's a first timer. I doubt if she's nervous, but in case she is, you guys, be on your P's and Q's. But here's the point where we start getting interactive, and I want your comments today. Don't unzip it. Don't zip it. I want to hear from you. Ask your questions. Throw your comments in. But how do we welcome a guest that's never been here? The way we do it every day. Virtually put some hearts on the screen. It's our way of virtually applauding, standing to our feet, and all that. Because guess what? Oh, here she comes. Allison Covington. Wait a minute. I sounded like Louise Jefferson. Anyway, here she comes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you holding your phone?
I am.
Girl, your hand is going to be tired by the end
I
of
know.
this.
That's why I'm sitting here with my arm nice and relaxed.
Why don't you prop it up against something?
It is. It's propped up on my knee.
Not like that. I mean, against something. So, okay.
So my hands are free to drink.
Yes.
Oh, don't worry. I got my coffee. I think I accidentally sent you a bio from 10 years ago.
And let me tell you what I saw two, but the one I used said, I have pulled up still. It says, hold on.
It says I'm married and I'm not.
No, it says revision.
Yeah.
And you sent it.
I know. I said the right one after, or the more current one afterward. I apologize. I apparently have 500 all labeled the same.
I see. So this other one, I'm in this one. I'm looking at another screen. Oh, she's also a pole dancer at the Cheetah Club in what is that? Seal Beach. You go all the way down there to dance? I'm kidding. I made that up here. You know what? I did that with John Duffy. You met John Duffy at the wedding. When he was on, I added to his bio that he was a male stripper back in the day, and he's still getting calls. No. I didn't know you were a stripper, so I shouldn't do that shit. But anyway, hey, listen, what I like to do to get the ball started is to allow the guests to have just a moment with the audience to create their own vibe. So I dip out and let you just say hello, and now you can give them the real bio, and then I'll pop back in and we'll officially get started. How's that sound?
Okay.
Perfect. All you. Take it away.
Oh my goodness. Good morning, everyone. So since that last bio 10 years ago, I am no longer married. I have 3 children, and my oldest is 16. My older son is 12, and my youngest is turning 5 in about a month. And the story about him and how he got here is probably one that we're going to talk about today, because it's a pretty significant story. But when I met Lauren, it was just amazing.
I think most of us know how babies get here, but if you want to go there.
I'm not talking about the biomechanics of
that. Oh, okay. I'll go back.
I'm glad you went and fetched your bathrobe, though, so I'm not
Well, you
alone.
made me feel like a slacker.
Well, I was just doing it in honor of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'm excited about being here with you all today. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about exactly, but I know that it's going to be a really interesting ride. And I know Lauren wanted me to share my story, and it's got some triumph, it's got some difficulty, it's got a lot of overcoming. And so I'm happy to be here and share with you, and hopefully maybe it gives somebody some hope.
Well, of course it will. So let's get started with your origin story. And boy, you're right. Go in right after you get off this show and delete that decade-old bio, girl.
Yeah, I don't even know why it's still on my hard
Oh
drive.
my
to
God.
be
Well, now we
honest.
know it's never about one thing. So,
No.
okay, where are you living currently?
I'm still in Orange County. Yeah, I just have 3
Where
kids
in Orange
now.
County?
Well, why? You gonna show
What
up?
town? Well, because I
Or
know
visit?
one of my favorite towns in Orange County is Laguna.
I am just on the other side of the hills of Laguna. I'm in Aliso.
See, that's why. I mean, oh, I remember the first time I rode in there, I was going to Bob Racucci's house. He's a big director, film director out there now, but we were all in our mid-20s living in Hollywood in the same building. I was the manager. He lived there, and he was a thriving actor or striving actor, but he made it and is now still directing films in Hollywood. Yes, and his family lived in Laguna Niguel.
I love Laguna Niguel.
Oh my God. When I
Better
went to
than
his
Laguna
parents' house, I was
Beach.
like, people actually live like this?
Yes.
It was so beautiful. So in those hills, when you come in,
Mhm.
it's hard to go back to your slum house or apartment when you visited there. But so that's cool. So you're single now
I am.
and you have 3 children. And we're
Do.
going to talk about your youngest. But let's talk about, are you one of those women who doesn't like to say how old they are?
No, I love it.
Thank
because
you.
I get carded, so I'm like, nope. You can tell. I will happily tell you I'm 47.
You're 47?
Uh-huh.
Congratulations. I just posted a reel this morning about turning sweet 61. See how I did that?
I
Sweet
like it.
16 and flipped it.
I like that.
Sweet 61. And so when I get card, well, they don't. Well, at my grocery store, if you have alcohol, they must, and they say, can I see your ID? I'm like, okay, right here. Right here. You know what I mean?
Right?
Right here. So anyway, you really still get carded?
Yeah.
How much did you have to pay him to do that?
I know,
I'm
right?
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So let's talk about, because I had my own fitness journey at 50. I was 190 pounds. I had a 38-inch waist, and I had no pictures of myself. I hated myself. I hated everything about me. And I had been shaving my head, my face, brushing my teeth, and all that stuff in the shower for 20 some years just to not face the truth. But then one morning, I don't know how it happened divinely, I accidentally saw myself in the mirror without a shirt on, and it scared me. I thought someone was in the room with me. Seriously, I looked like the Black Alfred Hitchcock. If my head would have went, good evening, it would not have surprised me. I'm not kidding. I said, I got to do something. And I changed.
What's great about that is that you didn't actually identify with the body that you were in, and it surprised you. So it made it a lot
Scared
easier
me.
for you to get out of it.
I'm not kidding. I was like, oh my God, I thought somebody was in here with me. It was real.
It's one of the hardest things for people to do, is to go from that identity of being the fat guy or fat girl or whatever they call themselves to being fit, because they've identified themselves for so long as being a certain way that even when they do all the right things, they will tend to go back, because the most powerful force in the human spirit is being consistent with your identity, being consistent with the way you see yourself.
That's a big piece. And it's a piece that we don't talk about that enough. Now, let me just say, I remember the grooming process of denial. It started with, okay, I'm not going to ever not wear 32-inch waist. But then it became 34. But what I would do is wear bigger shirts, or if it was a, button down shirt or whatever, I would tuck it in and then pull it out. You know how you do this kind of thing?
Yeah.
Where you try to make so nobody can see.
That's a very 1980s thing.
I know it. I mean, right. But
Yeah.
what amazes me, talk about this. How is it that when we look down, like here on ourselves, it looks totally different than when you look in a mirror?
Different perspectives,
I
right?
don't
You're not seeing
even
everything.
now. I'll think I'm looking pretty, and then I'll do a selfie or something. I go, look at my stomach, and I'm like, oh my god. And things
Like,
like when people take pictures, and you go, all
uh-huh.
those little things. Let's talk about how we trick our minds into getting on board with our goals, because that's
Mm,
the key. You can have all the assets, all of the things,
mhm.
the gym thing, but if your mindset ain't right,
That's
nothing's
right.
going to change. Go ahead. Tell us how you help people ease that suffering in their lives. Because I'm going to eat.
Oh, by the way, I don't care about Truvia. It's mostly
You don't?
stevia anyway. No, I use it.
Oh,
The only thing I ever wonder about is how much of that affects our gut microbiome. But I think Truvia is fine. Stevia definitely is. But a Truvia just has a little bit of like erythritol in it. Probably doesn't hurt you at
you
all.
look naked under that robe.
Oh, I am not.
Oh,
Maybe I should cover
just
it back up
clarifying.
like this.
Sorry,
You're
guys.
making me hot in here, Lauren. You're putting
Oh,
me on
get
the
used
spot and
to it.
making
If
me
I only
hot.
had a quarter.
If you keep talking like this, I'm going to end up with no bathrobe on, and you'll be like, "What is Allie doing?"
Oh, put it in the comments. Should I keep going, y'all? Anyway.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh, there we saw strap. Okay.
see,
Okay.
see, tank top, tank top.
So you're 47.
I am.
You're 47. What is the first thing you do after your eyes open in the morning? What's your routine?
Oh,
And what
does
time
that
do they open?
5:30?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, I got up a little
Well,
early
I
here
get
to
up a
be
little
a little
early.
bit caffeinated for you this morning, so I could rub a couple of neurons together and sound like I could form a sentence.
I know
That's
that's
good,
right.
right?
Well, you're out west, so it's actually
Yeah.
after 6 out there.
Yeah, so I
So I
got this
get it.
5
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
a little bit earlier to be here, but my feet hit the floor. I come downstairs, I grab my coffee, and I sit in this chair, and uh, I do a little bit of reading and meditating, just quiet time before kids get up and start banging around and wanting things from me, just so that I can connect and really focus on what I'm going to do for the day for people. So I'm coming
Oh.
from the highest place possible rather
Well, that's
than
interesting.
my human place, you know.
What you just said. That's
Mhm,
really interesting. A lot of us do our daily or morning routine and it's the grounding to get ourselves together. But
mhm.
you just said you do it so you can focus on how you're going to be of service to others.
Yeah.
That's unusually nice and wonderful. So, when you say that, do you mean the people that you actually have on your docket that day or just how you're going to be of service, period?
Both. Both.
So,
The
how do you
people that
do
I'm
that?
going to talk well, definitely I sit down and I get quiet with my coffee, really take some time to focus on, like, the gratitude of being here, that I'm
Mhm.
grateful that I'm still here, that I'm
Thank you,
grateful that I
Jesus.
can
Yes.
be of service to people. There was a time that I wasn't sure if I was still gonna be here, so
What do you mean
now
by
that
that?
I went through a bit of a time where it was touch and go whether or not I was gonna, like, still be around. And so the fact that I am makes me happy to be here every day and talk to as many people as I can to help them.
Well, all of us can, well, most of us, I'm assuming. I know, I get that, but there's two different shades to that. It could be a medical thing, or it could be our mind thing. "Oh, I don't want to be here anymore. You don't
It
have to
wasn't
go into
medical,
detail.
but it was physical. No, I was in a relationship with my youngest father was in a relationship that turned out very badly. And at one point, I thought either he's going to kill me or I'm going to kill myself to get out. Like, this is not going to continue one way or the other. And I
Wow,
wasn't sure which one of us was going to win.
wow, I just got God bumps from that. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I was pregnant with him at the time. And all I kept thinking was, please, God, let something happen that makes it easy to just have me and my 3 kids. Like, let something happen that makes it easy to get out of this.
Now, people look at you and just assume, oh, what does she have to worry about?
She
She's
must have it
cute.
all
She
together.
must have it all together. A lot of us
Mhm.
do that. And that's a big piece, Allie.
That's why I want to tell the story, because
Well,
it's
tell
easy
us.
to assume that people are living the high life and they don't see the scars and all the things that we had to overcome to get to this place of peace.
In this place of peace, how
Mm.
long was the journey to get to where you're now ready to pick that scab, if you will? Talk about it.
It wasn't a really long time. I really did some very intentional work and healing so that I could talk about it. It's funny because as I posted out the promo for this on Twitter this morning, Joshua Berglund, who says hi, by the way,
Oh, hi, Josh, the world's mayor.
he was one of the first ones to bring me on right after all this happened. I think it was January of 21. And what's interesting, and so I was on his show talking about this story. So it was a lot fresher back then. And what I didn't know is that Joshua was like my ex. I didn't know that until he had me in the waiting room and he was doing his intro and talking about his times of being abusive. And I went, oh, okay. And now here I am live going, and I'm talking to somebody just like my ex.
So was
So
it like, oh, so okay, let me get
that
ready.
was a surprise.
Let me
Thanks,
get ready
Joshua.
for you.
Right?
Right? So
Right?
what do you feel comfortable
Sure.
taking us a little bit inside that neighborhood known as
Yeah.
this part of your journey?
Sure, because I think it's important. And it was very confusing. It was very difficult. There was a lot of questions, a lot of how the heck did this happen to me? How did I'm smart. I have a master's in psychology. How how did this happen to me? But
Right.
Here's what I want to make clear. When we're learning how to heal people from trauma, we are not taught how. Those guys come in and or women, because there are women like that are abusive too.
Oh, whoo!
How
Oh,
how those people make their way into our lives. We're not taught that like grooming process and what to look for. So I worked with domestic violence victims and their children in helping them overcome the trauma. That must have been why I was able to, overcome that myself in a relatively short period of time. It only took me about a year and a half of healing
which
instead
probably
of
felt like 6 years.
instead of
It's
10
like
years,
dog
right?
years. Yeah. Let
Well,
me
some
ask
people
real
never
quick.
do the work.
Would you consider this to have been a narcissistic person?
Yes. I have to think that that's what that I mean, maybe he's just sociopath or
Ooh, that's a shade deeper.
yeah, I think more than narcissism, it was probably more like that.
Okay, so at the beginning, it was,
Sunshine and
beautiful,
rainbows.
loves a mini splendid thing.
Mhm.
And then now that you're on the other side, retroactively thinking,
Mhm.
where do you think the first footprint landed?
First footprint landed with criticism. Criticism of something that I felt like I was already good at. And so he would interject a different idea as though I didn't know what I was doing and made me start to question myself. So it was the gaslighting. So started
Gaslighting.
with gaslighting,
Now,
with making you question yourself and making you think maybe I don't actually know what I think I know. Oh,
you're a
maybe
strong
you
woman,
know what I think I know.
right?
Mm,
And you had probably never questioned yourself like that before. Now, let's talk about that for just a second. Stop on that slab of the sidewalk, because I
mhm,
know I've been around people when gaslighting comes up there. I was like, oh, I don't know how that happens to people. How can you be so stupid? You know what I'm saying? Like
mhm.
it's like obvious, but it isn't. So you started questioning yourself. What about the people that knew you that were sitting in the front row seats of your life? Did anybody say, "Girl, what is going on? That is not you"?
No,
Where was?
they loved him. They thought he was great.
So were you afraid at any point that if you ever shared this with people, they wouldn't believe you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. In fact, one of the reasons why I didn't bounce as soon as all of that started happening is because I thought, oh my gosh, if I even go to the police, they're not going to believe me. There's no physical evidence. How am I going to get a restraining order? How am I going to protect my unborn son? How am I going to protect my bigger kids? All of this stuff was going through my mind, and it was a huge worry. That's why I went, I don't even have any answers. I just need God to take care of me. I need something to intervene because I don't know what to do.
And the kids saw none of this from
No,
his
they
side. He wasn't that
no,
way to them at all.
no. He was
Right.
just, you know, tough but on things that matter, like don't lie, things like that. Right? Tough on that. Ironically, don't lie, yet that's all he was doing. So he was really big on not lying to him so that he could have all the control. That's what it turned out to be. He started off with lying to me before we were together and stating that he had a child. So he was a father and all of this. So it ingratiated himself with me. Turns out he didn't have a child at all.
Really?
But I didn't
You
find
never
that
wonder
out
where's
until
the
I was
child at if you're so good of a dad? Where's the baby?
right. Oh, the stories were great. Baby's with his mom, completely supportive, paying child support,
Did
all
he
that
give the
stuff.
baby a name and all of that?
Oh, yes. Oh, showed me pictures. Oh, yes. Had all of
Whose
it.
baby was he showing you?
I have no idea.
Something out of the Sears catalog?
Something from Pinterest, probably.
Oh my
No, that
Lord.
the truth didn't actually come out until we were in child support court, and the judge asked do you have any other children, because that impacts how much you have to pay for child support. And that's when he admitted no, and I thought, oh, I'm going to rip your head off now. I'm going to be the tables are going to turn, right?
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. Very, very convincing. That's why I thought maybe he's a sociopath, because
Right.
the bells didn't go off of lying, right? It all seemed like, oh, that's very plausible, very normal. My dog's gonna totally chew up my pillow while
Oh,
while
right
we're
now?
sitting here.
Oh, you're in the
No.
present now? Okay. Let me ask you this, Allie. Let
Mhm.
me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you remember which happened first? This is a chicken or the egg kind of question.
Okay.
Did the fear push you into seeing the truth, or did you feel that you were falling out of love with this man?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know, right?
As soon as the first time he slapped my face, I was like, "Oh, I don't love you anymore. Like, this is not what love is."
Just like that.
Just yeah, I was more afraid than anything else. But following that first slap, then I got to spend 90 minutes imprisoned in my bathroom while he screamed at me and put his fist through the wall. So, that pretty much sealed it, and at that point, it was like, "Oh, how do I get out of this?
So there
How do I?"
was no typical he runs up later, "Oh, baby, I'm sorry, sorry, it'll never happen again."
No,
'Cause you hear that a lot.
there was no abusive cycle. There was no right? It was just constant bad. There was no, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." There was none of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So during this whole process from that day right there, the first slap to sitting in the courtroom, let's say, let's go there.
Mhm. Okay.
How much of yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being completely, 1 being not so much at all, how much of yourself did you feel you had lost while this was happening? Like, you know what I mean? Like the Allie that sits here today, how much of her wasn't even there?
9. There was literally only a sliver of me left to get out. I thought yeah, so on a scale of 1 to 100, I was like at a 95. That's what I mean, like, I almost wasn't here anymore. So whether you wanna phrase it physically or spiritually, that person was almost gone. And I had
Wow.
the little bit that was left was the little bit that called the police.
To call the police. Now let's go to the other side. We know well some of what was happening on the inside, meaning mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Did it
Mhm.
have any physical effect? Because you're in
Sure.
the world of fitness. Did anything in there change? Did you know what I mean? Because you got to have passion to stay on that.
Yeah, huge depression. The fitness thankfully saved me, but only because my logical brain said, you need the dopamine. You have to get up and move. The only way to handle this depression is to continue moving forward. So as soon as the baby was able to get into the kids club at the gym, which is 6 months old, I was in the gym every day, whether I felt like it or not, because it was like, well, it's either lay here on the couch and take care of an infant with many medical problems, by the way,
We're going to
while
talk
I'm
about that.
while I'm going through 2 custody battles. I can sit here and wallow in it, which nobody would blame me for at all, or but nobody's going to get me out of it but me. So I'm going to drag my ass to the gym, and I'm going to trudge up the stupid stairs on the step mill, and one step at a time, I'm going to put myself back together again. And what's interesting about that is I know God, the universe, Allah, whatever you want to call it, intervened at very specific moments to facilitate this process of that initial prayer, which was, let something happen that makes it easy to get all of my kids back in my home and safely away from this person, safely away from danger.
What do you mean back in your home?
Well, during this process, I was already in a secondary custody situation with my ex-husband for my older kids. And
Oh,
he was using
your
my
current
son's
situation.
my current situation against me.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. No, she's the abusive one. What? Anyway. Yeah. We'll just leave that one right there for a second.
wow. Okay, so coming from all directions.
Coming from all directions, it really felt like it was intended to bury me, and it should have. It should have at least spiritually buried me, emotionally buried me, if not physically, right? And so, but the getting quiet, being right here in my chair, doing what I told you I do in the morning when I first get up, is part of what saved me, because if I hadn't been listening for the answers,
Yeah.
then I wouldn't have known the exact right thing to do at the exact right timing that magically turned into the stepping stones to get out of it.
There you go. When we seek, we will find another one of those universal guarantees. Listen,
That's right.
we're going to take a 30-second break. And when we
Mhm.
come back, I'd like us to get into the topic of the setting of intentions. What I
Ooh.
mean by that is, well, first of all, how long did it take from the moment you said, okay, I'm ending this, before you actually stepped out of that world and into the world you're in now? How long was that? A year, 6
N-
months?
No, that was like the first real slap was June 6th of 2018, and by October 18th, I had called the
Wow.
police.
Wow. Okay. When we come back, let's talk about how you have taken everything, because, I don't believe the universe makes mistakes. You guys have heard me say that. I believe it's just their way of keeping this shit interesting. We're going to find
No
out when we come
kidding.
back why all of this had to be. Because if it hadn't, Allie wouldn't be the woman we have with us today. That and a lot more when we return. Great time to share out the rest of this broadcast. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You can navigate the legal and emotional journey of divorce and exit a marriage the way you entered it, with mindfulness, love, and respect. Solace Divorce Mediation is a full-service law practice helping couples focus on the health and well-being of children and their forever co-parenting family. Our streamlined divorce journey offers flat fees with an estimated completion time frame of 2 to 4 months. If you or a friend need us, visit solacedivorce.com.
See? Quick and easy. We're
I like
back
it.
with Allie Covington. Welcome back to the show, Allie, and welcome back, all of you. We're going to get to some of your comments here in just a moment. But Allie, before the break there, I had mentioned I'd like to talk about the setting of intentions. How important do you think today, or know today, really making a decision and sticking to it was for you?
Critical. It was everything. Yeah.
How did you know it was gonna stick? How did you know, okay, I mean it now,
Because because it's not outside of my control, right? The only reason people think, oh, well, how do I know I'm going to actually stick to it, is because they doubt themselves. I didn't doubt that I was going to get out of that and stay out, right?
See,
I got out
that,
for a reason. And once this shroud, it's kind of what it is. It's what it feels like. It's like pulling a veil over you where you can see out of it, but it still feels like this control veil. Once I got that off, because in the first 10 days of getting away, there was a lot of, I was going through the bargaining process of grief. Well, maybe if I get away and we work on this, it can be something in the future. All of that kind of stuff was going around in my head. And my client who rescued me and got me out of the state during that period of time, right after I called the police, I was on a plane within a couple of hours. And I headed straight to the airport with the baby. I didn't pass a go. I went, grabbed some clothes, and we were
just
gone. Yeah, and she's a therapist, and she was like, "No, Allie, no, there is no more anything. There is nothing." So having that person that says, "No, this is not ever going to, you're never going to trust him again. You're never going to talk to him again." That was probably the biggest, like, oh, we're ripping the veil off. Like, oh, now I can see. Thank you. So it wasn't ever a matter of I didn't trust myself. Once I was out, I knew I would never go back. If you've ever accomplished anything in your life, like graduating from college or doing anything, you know what you're capable of. So,
right, right. And you
yeah,
can't forget those things. That's why
that's right.
personal accounting of taking an accounting, being a great steward with what you know to be true is so crucial,
Hmm.
because when you face what you know you have, you don't waste that energy looking for the things you think are missing.
Correct.
And that's what keeps
Yeah.
us running around in circles. Now, you made a really big point when you said doubt, because doubt, when I talk about doubt, it has cousins that usually show up to the party before doubt gets there, which is because doubt leads to worry, worry
Yep.
leads to fear, fear leads to anger, and anger leads to destruction. But
Yep.
if we just keep doubt out, keep your ass out there, you ain't coming in here, then the rest of them really don't have any power. So
That's
that was a
right.
really big piece you put there. But let's talk about the baby. Because then you have the baby and you have some issues, some extra duties, and all of this. And let's bring in the spiritual piece now, because there was an awakening. I believe there was the divine purpose of all of this. Can you share a little bit about all of that? And
Yeah. So I believe the divine purpose for all of it was to move me away from the path that I was on and onto the path that I really wanted to be on. So I conjured the idea of BOD, the company that I'm building right now, in 2009, back when there wasn't any video on Facebook, right? And I conjured this idea of being able to personally train people anywhere at any time, right?
Mhm.
How do I build a software system that can do that? So I had the technology to do what I wanted to do wasn't there to even build it. So it took quite a while to find some developers that would even understand what I was trying to do. And I was just trudging up a hill very slowly. It felt like forever. And I was, still building a business inside of Transamerica, still doing all of that stuff and running myself ragged, right? Really working very long hours, not a lot of time with my kids. And the reason I wanted to build BOD was so that I could deliver some value to people and still be able to raise my children, because I didn't become a mom for nothing, right? I didn't become a mom
Mhm.
just to have it in title. I wanted to actually be one, and I wanted to be the best one I could be. So enter this person in my life who was working for me at the time, and I thought, oh, cool, this is great. And And it turned out not to be. But what ended up happening, and it had to come as a result of getting out. And so here's October of 2018. I'm in Colorado. I'm at my client's house, and I'm staying the heck off of any social media platform that he knows that I'm on. So I
Right.
go to Twitter. I wasn't on Twitter. I mean,
Right.
I had an account, but I hadn't like been on it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
Twitter is a really interesting world.
Yes.
Man.
I'm still learning.
And but he wasn't over there. So I just started like interacting and getting interacting with people over there instead of on Facebook and Instagram, because I knew he could follow me from an anonymous account and see what I was talking about and saying. And so I
Exactly.
connected with a number of people over there on Twitter. And so I'm going to be, in the interest of time on your show, I'm going to fast forward through all the details of 2019, which
Okay.
is to say 2 custody battles, 2 sets of therapists, two of everything, too much money bleeding out, and an infant who has 6 medical conditions, one of which could be extremely dire for his future. And I didn't know what to do. And I'm doing all of this alone, right? I had some friends that would come in from other states and help, but I had nobody here
Thank
with
God for
me.
them.
Thank God for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I get to 2020, beginning of 2020, January, and I'm supposed to go to trial with my ex-husband. And we show up, and the judge says, we're not going to have a trial. We're going back to 50-50. Put it back together, you guys, and move on. We're not doing this. And I thought, oh my God, we didn't even have to go through the trial. Didn't have to spend the money. Thank you. Thank you, universe. Thank you. Right. So that was the beginning of the goodness to come.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I'm on Twitter and not other social media platforms that I had been on for a while, I was fresh and new, and I just started talking about the stuff that I know. Well, Twitter being a different animal, people interact differently. You can, you know, I don't know. It's a lot of strangers. Nobody that I knew was on Twitter. Nobody
Right.
over there on Twitter actually knew me. Everybody I knew was on other social media platforms, so I could actually speak a little bit more freely than I could before, because
More transparent.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was concerned about what people who already knew me as would think. So I'm over on Twitter speaking some truth now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially about what I was going through. And COVID happens. So no one's going to do any financial planning when they don't know if they're going to have a paycheck. So I thought, well, at least I've got bod. So I'll just promote that. Like, okay, universe, okay, God, you're telling me this is the way to go, right? Here's the breadcrumbs. And so I put out a post saying that I was going to do a COVID special for anybody who wanted to work with me, and I would give them a discount.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first people to jump on board was this follower that I had never interacted with really. He happened to be on the east coast of Canada, a software developer. Yes, law of attraction indeed. This is why I'm like, this is me moving in a new direction. So COVID's going on, and I'm, doing my best there and trying to keep my head above water and, you know, get kind of find some type of normalcy with all of my children interacting, because
All during a pandemic.
yeah, we went to the beach a lot. My ex-husband had them for 19 months while I had gotten out of this relationship and gotten back on my feet, which also meant that I had to undo a lot of whatever was going on over there with that. So rebuilding the relationships and helping my children build relationships between each other in a way that would support all of them. So doing all of that with COVID. Anyway, so the software developer is like, Allie, I really love what you're doing. Like, I'm getting great results. I want to, and so do you do coaching? And I thought, I mean, I can. I've got a master's in psychology. Like, sure, I can do coaching. I just
Sure.
hadn't thought of it. So we started coaching together and helped him overcome some, old traumas that were holding him back, and move forward to November of that year. And he's like, I want to invest. I want to invest in you. I want to invest in the company. I want to help rebuild this thing. And I thought, you've got to be kidding me, because one of the things that I wanted so badly during that whole 2009 to 2017 process of trying to build the MVP that I had was, I really want a developer who wants to partner with me, who wants to be on the same side of the table as me. Because all the developers that I had come across, they wanted me to pay them. They wanted a paycheck, but they didn't want to put their money where their mouth was. They were like, I don't care what the end product looks like. Just pay me my hourly rate, and I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Well, I wanted somebody who had a vested interest in making it the best it could possibly be. And here was that guy.
So
enter
right
into my
there,
life.
stop for 1 second. Here was that guy. Now, a lot of women that I've interviewed or spoken with or know personally that have gone through this, and there is a boatload of them out there, and that they just don't all talk about it publicly, is they say that it takes them a long time, if ever, to trust men. So here comes a guy like that you never knew before. Did you have any trust issues because of him? Here's another guy. What are you up to, buddy? Kind of thing.
Oh yeah, but business versus personal was very different for me. It wasn't difficult to, and because I had coached him, I knew who he was. Was not difficult at all to say, yes, let's do this business together. Let's definitely build this. His heart was really good. I knew where he was coming from. He wasn't holding anything back from me.
Great.
And so that was an easy decision. The tougher decision was when he was like, hey, I think I kind of like you. And I went,
I knew it. I had a feeling. That's why I threw that one in there. I was like, I bet he likes her. Okay. So now what happens?
I think that came,
God, I'm glad I got my
later.
popcorn.
Well, and you met him at the wedding too, right? He was there.
No, yeah.
Standing
behind you when you were in the sacred chair.
Was he behind me?
Sacred chair. Yeah, because look what it did for us.
I thought he was next to you. Anyway,
he's a great guy.
Yeah. Very smart.
Go on.
Very really good man. And today he is not the man that he was when we started working together 2 years ago either. So he's grown and changed a lot. And it's definitely been a moment to moment, day to day thing. But I knew I couldn't get where I needed to go without either a lot of money, or without a co-founder that was technical. So he was the co-founder that was technical. He was the guy that helped me build the version that I have right now. And he's buckled down right now, even souping that up. And we're going to deploy here probably today our test of the next greatest version.
Tell us about it.
Software system.
Who's it for, and how is it going to ease suffering in their lives?
So it is for everyone. It is not just BrideBot anymore. That was the original vertical that I had come up with and imagined different verticals for different experiences for different people. So yes, I did have a groom bod going, because all the guys that I told, hey, I'm going to do this BrideBot thing. I'm going to build this software system that lets me deliver personal training at a distance. And they were like, well, what about the guys? And I went,
first thing I said,
never imagined that you all would want any help.
Girl.
Because
we're more vain than women in most cases. We just don't let it out.
But you also don't seek help as much as often as women do. So I just didn't imagine that men would do it. I just figured they'd muscle their way through and figure it out themselves the way men like to tend to do. So
or pretend to do.
But turns out most of my clients are men. So boy, was I wrong, right? So this is a lesson in don't make assumptions about who you're going to attract, right?
Thank you for agreements.
No kidding. So, by the way, can I turn this around to show you Xander right now?
Of course. Yes.
Xander.
Oh, hi, Xander.
Xander.
Wait till he turns around, you guys.
Yeah, he was going
to.
He's waiting to get on the bus to go to summer school, but he's almost 5. He is special needs because of the seizures. So he doesn't talk and doesn't walk yet and doesn't feed himself yet, but we're working on it every day. And so there's my little guy crawling. The ZFO is on because he can't walk yet. He is a glorious soul. Let me tell you, he is definitely a blessing. So who's it for? It's for everyone. Right now we're going to launch the new one for founders, entrepreneurs, because we are the busiest and most hectic group of people on the planet, the double type A's that are running around ragged and know that our health needs to be taken seriously, but don't really have the time
Or the know-how.
and know that it's going to take too long. So going and finding a trainer in person is not only expensive, but let's say you have the money, you're losing money to sessions that you can't attend because your schedule changed, because this
I
meeting
got a
ran
bunch
long,
of them on
because
the
that
book.
one popped up.
You're
You know what I
absolutely
mean?
right. I've got like 12 on the books right now,
Yeah.
at $85 a session, and I just don't have the time to get there.
Right, because you're having to work around the trainer's schedule as well as your own.
Thank
And
you.
that was a frustration that I had when I worked at the gym. This is what prompted this idea, which was never losing money to a lost session again, never losing a session again, because now you can take me wherever you want. You can work out with me in the gym any time of day. You can work out with me at home any time of day. I'm always there with you. And so right there on your phone, you get a perfect training session just for you, built just for you based on your strengths, your goals, your everything, just like I would do in the gym. Only now you don't have to worry about my schedule. Because do you have any idea how many people wanted a 6 a.m. or a 7 a.m. or an 8 a.m. slot? Everybody wanted the same slot, but only one person can get it.
Right.
Now everybody can get the same slot. So it's fun to me to open up the app and go on the back end, the coach's view, and see all the people that are doing their workouts all at the same time that I'm doing mine.
I love it. Hey, real
Yeah.
quick, so I can type it in for everybody, because we got a
Mhm.
late start this morning. Where can people go to check all this out?
You can go to bodbyally.com or bodcompany.com. They will both take you to the same place, BOD.
ALLI.com.
Uh-huh.
That's one. And
Mhm.
the other one is?
Bodcompany.com. And then, so right now, the way my clients have been using our app is through coaching. So we invite all the coaching clients into the app.com. Yeah, that's exactly right. Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you for
Of
spelling it right.
course.
So what we're going to do is launch it to the public here shortly. And the reason why we did it with coaching clients was so that we could learn, so we could understand better how people use it in general, so that we could make some changes and then launch it to the public in a meaningful way so that everybody can have the benefit of it.
That's awesome. And you said you're actually launching today?
No, we were going to launch July 4th, but there's a
My
couple of other
birthday.
speakers that's your birthday?
Yes, I'll be sweet
Oh,
61.
no way.
Yes.
I love
Ray.
it. Xander, say hi, baby.
Hi, Xander. Good to see you again. Look how cute.
He
That
is
hair. Oh my
so
God.
precious. He is
Yes.
smart. And I wonder, he'll just sit there and laugh. And I'm like, what's the joke? I want to know what you're thinking. Can't wait for him to talk.
He's beautiful.
Thank you. If you were in his presence, you would feel something. Everybody that sees him is like there's something special about him.
Oh, I felt, remember I
Really
told you that when you introduced me virtually to him the first time.
Yes,
It was
that's
just
right.
like that. Just like that.
Yeah.
So let's just say this. Jerry Springer moment. We've got a minute and a half left.
Okay.
Speak to the person who is thinking, boy, it sounds really great, but could she really help a person like me? I got so much shit to deal with. I've tried everything. Why is this different and could possibly ease that suffering that this person thinks they can never get away from?
Oh, that's beautiful. Because I don't know anybody that's putting psychology and fitness together. Therapists don't do their work while you're exercising, right? And trainers don't understand how to motivate your head, how to train your brain. And that's the big difference between me. I don't know other trainers that have degrees in psychology, and I don't know other therapists that are trainers and put those two together. I know people that might have bachelors in psychology, like the actual, but that's clinical psychology. That's not counseling. That's not moving forward and changing anything. And fitness, the biochemistry in your brain from the nutrition, from the foods that you put in your mouth, has an impact on your brain and how that functions as a result of trying to heal and overcome all the things that are holding you back.
There you
So
go.
between the hormones that are released during exercise and the way we can calm and ease the inflammation and suffering in our brains from nutrition, then we can actually start to make more progress faster with the mental and emotional work that we do.
Perfect. Listen, you guys, you see both of the avenues to find more about what can be done and how Allie and her team can help you. Use the links. I've also taken the liberty of dropping them into the comment section for easy use right now at the conclusion of today's broadcast. I want to thank you, Allie. You got to come back. You just have to. And
I'd love to.
yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Xander. And listen, thank you for what you do to ease suffering in the world. We absolutely adore you. And I wish you the very best on everything you do. And listen, you guys, thank you for coming in today. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. And I will see you, God willing, Monday morning, 8 a.m. Central, right out there on the front porch again, as together we create another divine moment through illuminated conversation right here on Bathrobe Moments. And in conclusion, as I always say to you, I just love you. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. So there. Allie, thank you so much. Be the best. Continue doing the best, and God will take care of the rest. Have the best weekend ever, and tell your business partner and friend I said hello, right?
I will.
Okay, great job today. Thank you so much. You guys get out of here. Have the best day. Have the best you. Be the best you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind.